What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. Over the course of the last few years, we've seen the rise of microtransactions. It seems like companies are trying to do anything to sell you something extra, whether it be cars in a racing game, loot crates in an RPG, or just costumes. Anything to make that extra buck, and some of these are downright evil. So this week, let's take a look at those. These are my picks for the top 10 worst gaming microtransactions. Number 10. Buying Fatalities. When it comes to fighting games, there's nothing quite like Mortal Kombat. This series has become famous for its bloody combos, crazy characters, and the gory finishing moves. With the release of the 10th major entry in this franchise, we were promised that this would be a total reinvention of the Mortal Kombat we love. Perhaps that's true, but they also brought with it an annoyingly bad system of paid content. There's a new location we can access called the Crypt, and by visiting this, you smash headstones to get special unlockables like concept art and fatalities. This basically gives less skilled players the option to buy what absolutely should be free. If someone already bought the game and wants to see this stuff, why are you charging them extra? Number 9. Faster upgrades. Now, I want you to take a second to really picture yourself having the worst day ever. You're trapped on a frozen planet with tons of zombies and you're extremely short on bullets. Your guns are decent, but not strong enough to make survival possible. Thankfully, you find an upgrade station hidden in the corner of a side room. As you log into it, you notice that there are two choices. Do you want to improve your weapons quickly or slowly? Unfortunately, if you want to make your gear better so you're ready for that next big battle, you have to spend real money. This mechanic is so out of place that people hated it. If you're gonna shove microtransactions in a game that are just horrible, at least try and make them not so painfully obvious. Number 8. Cash cars. There's a unique kind of passion to finally getting a new ride in your favorite racing title. All those hours of perfect cornering on long tracks, it just feels totally worth it when you get to drive that new car out of the garage. If you wanted to save time, Forza created a bonus aspect to competition called mod cards. These would change particular elements of the race you're about to compete in to multiply the reward. Here's the thing though, getting these items required loot crates. While it is possible to earn these with in-game money, if you didn't want to waste weeks repeating old races to get these, you would be forced to buy them with real money. That means just getting a ride that you've been looking forward to for weeks can cost hundreds and hundreds of real-world dollars. I hate when a game takes such a great system and then just rips it apart for the sake of profit. Number 7. Base guards. We're really entering a new dawn of online multiplayer. Developers are finding amazing, fresh ideas on how people can have fun playing with each other. For Metal Gear Solid 5, they introduced the concept of taking part in matches to earn items, which could later be used to build a giant military base. The more powerful your base is, the higher ranked you are, but in order to hold your position on the leaderboards, you'd also have to worry about rivals attacking your base. The solution to this problem that Konami came up with is a guarding system. There is a catch though, of course. These base protectors don't work for free. You have to pay these NPCs with cash. That means to actually keep up in the online experience, you are going to have to keep paying over and over again. Number 6. Armor breaking ammo. This beautiful piece of machinery you're looking at is the Chrysler K. With its long-range cannons, quick maneuvering, and thick armor, it is by far the deadliest thing on the battlefield. The defense on this tank is so high that the only way to even crack its shell is with special ammo made specifically to pierce armor. I bet you're wondering why they would even allow a person to use a vehicle so broken. Well, that's because they paid a ton of money to slide into the seat. The Chrysler K cost $80 to get. That sort of makes sense because World of Tanks is free to play, but the Chrysler K screwed up the entire balance of the rest of the game because the only way to get it is to get that premium ammo, which costs money. You are going to basically have to pay to destroy other players who paid more. This vehicle is so overpowered that it just became a giant bidding war to see who could pay the most to win the most matches. That was so aggravating that millions of people ended up quitting World of Tanks just because of this. Number 5. Real Money Store. In general, I don't really like when games have the option to pay to skip content, but in Assassin's Creed Unity, this system feels 50 times dumber because the project itself was so badly made. At launch, this adventure had so many glitches, there were thousands of YouTube videos just being made trying to show it all off. Ubisoft seemed to know that this was going to sell very badly, so at the last minute they shoved in incredibly dirty mechanics. What they did is put all the best weapons and armor from the very end of the game at the start. This would make it where anytime you got stuck, you could just spend real cash to instantly get stronger. This felt so incredibly out of place because normally Assassin's Creed is about the pacing. They would give you a big upgrade every couple hours so you felt like you were getting stronger as your training improved. Clearly the studio was afraid of hurting their bottom line, so they decided to basically try and abuse a certain part of the fan base, just to see who they could trick into purchasing this. Number 4. Orc Boxes. In the entire catalog of legendary fantasy novels, none is perhaps more well regarded than Lord of the Rings. Every page is filled with amazing magic, cool characters, and loot boxes. Yeah, there's definitely DLC in this book. Wait, no, what am I saying? No, that's not in this book. That's in the really stupid game Shadow of War. A major aspect of the story in this is that our hero must stop Sauron once and for all. Doing this is going to require more than just his own talents at combat. We will need to build an army, which will take many hours. However, if you're in a hurry or just lazy as hell, you can buy Orc Boxes to just mystically have ultra special units dropped into your forces. It's so plot-breaking that this even exists. In my head, I can picture an executive sitting down and going, well, this will probably just really destroy the experience for a large part of the audience, but screw it. I want Orc Boxes and I want them now. Number 3. Costly classes. At this point, Evolve is long dead, and for good reason. This train wreck launched with so much individualized content. Stuff like character outfits, monsters to fight, and even other hunters. Yes, that's right. Just playing every class required you to buy the game and then additional DLC. That alone was awful, but fans were driven insane by the fact that Evolve actually had a season pass intent to cover all future content. Notice I said future. The day one microtransactions were not included in this season pass. If you wanted everything that was on the disc of release day, you would have to spend $120. Seriously, what kind of evil person comes up with that? The funny part of this tale is that there was just so many loads of junk you had to buy just to play this that people were quitting in droves, which made the developers panic. They rushed all the rest of the monsters and heroes, but at that point it was already way too late. Number 2. Custom character. I'm not really into sports games, but I can understand the appeal. If you like watching your favorite players on the court, obviously you'd love a chance to slip on their shoes and score some points as them. In the 2K series, they take this idea one step further with a single-player career mode where you create your own dude to dominate enemy teams. Where the issues start to arise, though, is when you want to customize your character a bit. Do you want a new haircut? That'll cost you $1,000 in-game dollars. Do you need a tattoo to feel tough? That's going to be another $1,000. Craving some upgrades so you can jump higher or run faster? Well, that is going to be $4,000 per point. Everything is incredibly expensive, and earning enough naturally from playing in matches is very slow. 2K18 constantly grinds you down to try and beg you to buy real-life cash packs. For a franchise that's already famous for how well it sells, this is just so ridiculous. Why did you have to push the people who already love your game so far? Number 1. Pay to win. One of the most hyped up and crushingly disappointing games of the year has been For Honor, with the promise of a fully fleshed out 3D combat game that just took the best warriors from throughout history and put them against each other. We were all really excited. On the surface, it seems very balanced. Sounds great, right? Well, it all comes down to one thing: how well you built your gear. Everything comes down to little tiny stats, how hard a certain attack will hit, or how quickly you can roll away. Building out your character is very specific, and that takes a lot of time. By now, I'm sure you know what I'm about to say. Of course, there's a freaking shortcut. If you want, you can purchase gold, which will make it possible to just crank out your character very early on. You can use this to specifically upgrade gear and make yourself stronger, or just buy some of the strongest stuff right at the beginning. Somebody calculated that if you wanted to legitimately earn all the best gear, it would take you 1,000 hours. Now, just playing for a couple hours each week, that means you would be playing just For Honor competitively for years and only very slowly getting stronger. The backlash to this was incredibly severe, causing the entire fanbase to instantly collapse. For the raw greediness and utter stupidity of trying to milk your fans this much, I awarded this my pick as the worst microtransactions of modern gaming. Did your most hated microtransaction not make the list? Get an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. Honestly, there were so many really bad ones that it was hard to pick just 10. This week we just got freaking Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is just a mess of loot crates. So I'm curious to see what you have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Man, I keep thinking about the fact that I hope we don't keep getting microtransactions this bad. Imagine playing a giant awesome Resident Evil and every time you die, you gotta pay 25 cents to come back to life. You know that would be awful but make a ton of cash. Oh, hey, I was just playing a little bit of Grand Theft Auto on my Darth Vader PSP. Are you curious what I'm going to come out with next? Well, if you click this button, you'll be subscribed to be the first to know. Also, if you click over here and here, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. I promise, it was super good. Or it was really bad and I'm sure you can just make fun of me in the comments. Either way, it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching.